The crash of October 1987 drove the price of Coca-Cola stock down from $6 to $3 per share. Today, a share of Coke is worth about $80, so you may want to hold on to that can. The kids here say that getting the bonfire back has given them a sense of accomplishment, and now they know that they do have a voice when it comes to getting the privileges they feel they deserve. City officials won't say if one site is preferred over the other, but this is a much larger lot, and if the Civic Center is put here, fewer businesses would have to relocate. The Colonial Days Parade has changed and grown a lot since it began 35 years ago. We spoke to one woman who remembers that very first parade. Bob, Harold Van Houten will serve 2 consecutive terms of 25 years to life, one for each count of second-degree murder. After the sentencing, the family of one of the victims spoke to us about where they will go from here.
I mean, there's always going to be the emptiness and him not being there, but at least we can have some time to mourn and get all this behind us and not have to look at Van Houten anymore.
The family of George Santos are as happy as a grieving family can be today. They say they've been through enough.
I'm glad that I can finally get on and think about my brother as how he used to be.
The sentence comes as no surprise to Assistant District Attorney John Trice.
We felt very confident that the judge would make the correct decision, which was supported by the evidence in this case.
That evidence includes a 30-year history of crime. Van Houten has been in and out of jail since he was 15. In his pre-sentencing statement, Judge Peter Buckley said it was time to segregate Van Houten from society. And the judge was not impressed by Van Houten's efforts to use his addiction to alcohol as an excuse.
The judge and the probation officer highlighted that here was a person who was wearing his alcohol problem as a badge, was certainly not addressing it or attempting to deal with that problem, and was using it as an excuse to escape liability.
It sends out a strong message to people that just because we have addictive behaviors doesn't mean that we don't have to be responsible for what we do.
Van Houten has 30 days to appeal the sentence. His lawyer, Paul Corradini, did not respond to our request for comment. Bob? It doesn't come like this anymore, in plain paper bags with real butter, handed over with a smile.
Oh, that was a long, long time ago. I often wondered what happened to it.
It was back in 1929 that Frank Romeo started what would become one of Elmira's mainstays.
That was a big deal. You go to the movie, you get a bag of popcorn.
And for one group of men, it was a big enough deal to restore the truck after it was sold and then abandoned in Bearsville.
Brought it back in very sad shape, and about the only thing that's original on the vehicle is the roof.
Ask the men of the Popcorn Preservation Society why they spent 5 years fixing it, and you may hear this sort of answer.
Well, I'm interested in antique cars and antique stuff, and I just like the preservation angle of it.
But that's not even a kernel of the real answer. Former Mayor Howard Townsend, who presented the original operating licenses at a dedication ceremony for the truck's new home, has the reason.
My parents would always come down here with me, and we'd get popcorn, and it was just, like a tradition. And, I just think it's appropriate that, this was done, that we built this building, and it's part of Elmira's history, and I'm proud of it.
And Dale Bryan is proud as he doles out bag after bag.
They remember either their parents bringing them to it or they bringing their kids to it, or depending upon their age.
The men usually have to charge $1 to keep the popcorn truck going. But today, the popcorn and the memories are free. In Elmira, Jessica Schneebaum, News Center 36. It takes an entire fleet of snowplows to clear the roads when they're covered with a sheet of ice and freezing rain is coming down.
The harder it rains, the quicker the salt is removed from the road. So it takes more salt, it takes more trips.
Once the lanes are clear and cars are moving through, the plows start cutting away the ice on the shoulders. And chipping that ice away can break even the toughest blade.
With the road being so cold to begin with, after our below zero temperatures, it bonds to the road faster.
Driveways are no different. Jim's lived here for 10 years and says he has never seen conditions like this.
I can remember a lot more snow, but nothing with the snow and the ice underneath it.
It's slow going, but Jim is determined and even cheerful about the work.
I like shoveling snow.
But hacking away at the ice isn't everyone's idea of a good time. While Jim shovels away, a lot of people have just taken the top layer off their driveways, hoping that warmer temperatures will get rid of this hard layer of ice. In Horseheads, Jessica Schneebaum, News Center 36. The long wait was worth it. Now Hillary Stepford and her cousins are back in business.
Shoveling, making snowman's angels, and shoveling sidewalks.
She's not just trying to be cheerful about the job, and Grandma certainly doesn't mind the help.
Grandma loves it. Grandma loves it. She gets out of not having to shovel, and the kids all do it, and they have fun, so everybody has fun.
And Grandma has all the confidence in the world in these little pros.
Cody, you're jumping in the snowbank. Come here.
For most people, shoveling's a chore, but for these kids, it's an adventure. It's also an adventure for David and Beatrice Taylor. She grew up here, but has been away for a while. Right about now, she seems to be longing for her other home.
Union County.
David arrived last month, and he's ready to turn right around.
I'm not ready for this.
He says he'll try, but can he make it through 2 more months of this?
I don't know.
Oh, he's gonna make it, all right.
A glance down the street might give him some confidence. The kids are still going at it with a vengeance.
Sometimes I get tired. And I get a lot of new friends, and I show a lot.
In Elmira, Jessica Schneebaum, News Center 36. A new twist in the case of the Elmira man who confessed to killing 2 men back in January. Harold Van Houten admitted in May that he had killed Stephen Farnsworth and George Santos. But on Monday, Van Houten asked to withdraw his confession. He said he was high on wine and prescription drugs when he pleaded guilty. Yesterday, Van Houten was expected to present his case before Judge Peter Buckley. Instead, he asked for a new defense attorney. He said public defender Richard Rich had not informed him of all his options. Van Houten will now be represented by attorney Paul Corradini and will be back in court on August 18th. The longest day of the year seems longer when the fish aren't biting. But kids who brought their fathers out to Seneca Lake in Watkins Glen found no shortage of ways to make Dad feel special. Ithaca police are still looking for a man they say shot an Ithaca resident in the stomach and foot on Wednesday. It happened in Ithaca at the corner of Corn and Green Streets. But they will not say if this is the same person described in an All Points bulletin yesterday as an armed man wanted for attempted murder. Some residents say both the shooting victim and the suspect are regulars in the neighborhood and have been seen dealing drugs there. Ithaca police are asking anyone with information to call them at 272-9973. That number again is 272-9973. That's our morning report. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.